So, equanimity, what does it mean actually? I think I've asked a few people this the other day, and most of the people kind of either say some Yoda quote or something out of some sci fi movie or something along those lines. I often quote some Buddhist scripture or something. And most of them come down to everything in moderation. That's most common explanation I heard. So level headedness. That's another one which I heard. And it got me thinking. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Now, what I'm going to try to do today is like work through that definition and come up with something of our own together. And all that makes sense, but what if that is not the truth, or what if that is the truth? So let's just figure it out together what equanimity means. So, first question we can all ask is the current world situation, the economic crisis, pandemics, countries moving to other countries, and violence and racism and all sorts of things going around within us and around us. How can we be a human being? Or how can we be part of something which helps humanity? So, from a relatively privileged point of view, uh, I think it was, so for us it is easier, for me at least, it is easier to be able to even contemplate such things as equanimity and how to be a human being. So I feel a lot of privilege even like discussing this. Sorry, not privilege, I feel privileged to discuss this. Uh, and, and that's a position a lot of people don't have. So I think I need to tread carefully. I think we need to understand this together, that one person's way of looking at things might not be the same as ours. So the next question which arose to me was, how best can we be? How do we be there for the world? So if we are coming from a certain background, how can we be of use, or how can we help? Is what I was thinking when all these things are going around. And what often happens is we start to build competency. We start to build competency. We say, okay, if I do these things, if I become a good meditation teacher, and if I improve myself day by day, I do what James Clear says in Atomic Habits, improve 1% every day. If I keep doing those things, that will help a lot of people, and that will create a better place for humanity. So then you start to build that, and then you're hoping this will resolve all the issues, this will find the solution. So you go to schools, you go to courses, you sign up to certain things, and you then start to realize the vastness of reality and vastness of what we don't know. And then you get into a state where, oh, I don't know, I am pretending now. So we started to pretend now. So we become more of a pretender, trying to move as though we know things. And this is how we start to create that ideology of contribution. We are like contributing. And all the while there is an internal conflict going on, and external things, but internally as well. So what equanimity can bring is that sense of non-dependent awareness to that situation. So that situation itself is like a very complicated situation. I mentioned external factors, internal factors, drama, trauma, all of it. So equanimity kind of brings a non-dependent awareness that this is going on and this is okay. And the place where you are not able to be competent is a very pure place for practicing. I'm practicing equanimity. So we start to build competence, and we also don't know a lot of things. So we have a dissociation towards them. We don't agree with them. We don't want to be part of it, or we think others are wrong, and we don't want to get their point of view. So the equanimity kind of brings that the competent part of you and the non-competent part of you together with a non-dependent awareness. By non-dependence, I mean uh, you are not striving. You're not. Uh, you're not being very part of it. You're not associated with it. You are not troubled by it. You are not happy by it. You are not anything by it. It is just the sense of awareness. So, as part of this narrative, which I'm trying to say, is like there are so many complications, so many external things, so many internal things. Then we start to find strategies. We start to find stories. We start to cling on to narratives. We start to believe things. We start to associate with things to find something. What are we trying to find? So, what are we trying to find? And that is the question which brings back the search of something. What is it? What is it? And that I feel can be answered through equanimity practices for you personally. So this is also one way we can look at it is everybody has their own mind, everybody has their own way of doing things. And equanimity brings that a sense within you to create that what is equanimous for you. So we do things like I want to be part of suffering so that I can act compassionate. So we start to build things in our life just to prove that we are equanimous, or we are bringing that kind of habit. So it might be when you are suffering, you want to be more compassionate. When you are happy, you want to show that, oh, I can be sad also, just to balance things out. That's where I come back to the original definition, which everybody I spoke to, most of the people I spoke to, said everything in moderation. So when you go high, just don't go too high, and when you go low, just don't go too low. It's okay. You can come back to a medium. And what I personally feel, in my opinion, what equanimity means to me is slightly different from that definition. And that definition would be when you are feeling high, are you able to feel the high? Are you able to be aware of the highness? I just created a word, the high, or the positive vibrations, or whatever we want to call it. Are we there fully, or are we chasing after something for it to last longer? Or on the flip side, when we are suffering, when we are going through sadness, when we are going through all the different negative traumas and dramas of life, are we able to stay there? Are we being there? So it's not in moderation. It is full-fledged. It is part of your being. It's full-fledged. And that's kind of the definition I started to cultivate, or I started to understand even today. So when people talk about what's going on in terms of the weather, in terms of the issues we are facing, yet we look at it from one or two points of view only. We don't understand that, okay, there is so much suffering which is already happening, and then suddenly it's suffering for the certain people. It becomes a bit more into the common knowledge. So there's a lot of uh, non-dependent, non-responsive awareness we should be cultivating, and equanimity is that path towards uh, towards basically being a human. So this morning I woke up, I kind of felt equanimous. By what that I mean is, I woke up, yeah, I feel so happy, I feel so stable. I did my morning routines, all calm. For the first hour, I was doing my meditation, did my recordings or whatever. I felt so productive. I felt like, yes, this is what equanimity means. And then I started to look at my Instagram and then my Twitter and my Facebook. I created the opposite effect. It created the effect of, oh my God, there are so many other teachers doing so much more than me. I'm not good enough. Oh my God, so what do I need to do now? Oh my God, I have at 7 p.m. a talk on equanimity. Oh, or maybe they won't like what I'm saying. Oh, maybe they will judge me for what I'm saying. Oh, okay. So those are the kind of thoughts which were happening after my relatively calm and equanimous, quote unquote, morning. And this was within a matter of hours. So the point I'm trying to make is we all, every day, go through this journey. And practicing equanimity, which is a practice, helps us navigate these moments of changes within the day. And Viktor Frankl says this wonderful quote where in between the stimulus and the response is the whole world, or something along those lines. And that is kind of the message through this talk I'm trying to make is equanimity is one of the noble foundations of Buddhism as well. So there are a lot of religions also having said this way before I am saying this. So there's a lot of literature around what equanimity means for different people. So there's a lot of literature. But my point is, I think we need to find what is equanimity for us, you, me. And for that, sometimes we might have to practice it. And practicing equanimity is in a way self-care. It's in a way self-improvement. It's in a way heartwarming. It's opening the heart, and it can be joyful, it can be sorrowful. So it brings all aspects of life. So there was one question I think I was asked in one of my programs was, so how can you say this is kind of a balanced way of looking, so how can you bring balance when you are depressed or when you are sad all the time? And that's a challenging question. Without knowing the context and without knowing the actual conversations, it's very difficult to answer. But what I'm trying to answer is, when you are feeling sadness, the regular sadness, the life's little stresses, anxious moments, where you cannot feel that equanimity or the balance, is to practice awareness, going back into yourself as much as possible, noting what is happening, slowing down, and then acknowledging and accepting what's going on. And this is a practice. I just said it in a few words. We cannot fit it in a 15-minute talk, but it's a practice called. There are many types of practice. Some of them are called RAIN. So, for example, RAIN is a good practice, which is recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. So that's one way to get towards equanimity. There's other ways with phrases. So, may I be equanimous. That's another way to get to. May I be peaceful. May I be happy. May I be joyful. May I be balanced. So there are many ways you can work, and you can work on this. So just to like come full circle now. So what I started the session with is a question: what is equanimity? I got a few answers from people who I've spoken to. I got some answers for myself. And now I want to know what it means to you.